Hello, and welcome to the Unloved Podcast, a show for the animals that society tends to overlook, the people who love them, and the stories that change minds and lives. I'm Trinity, aka Miss Herbsalot, and this is episode 1. I want to start by being completely honest. The last few days have been some of the hardest times of my life. I lost my dog Medusa, and it's been rough. She was my soul dog, my best friend, and the reason I do the work I do around animal welfare and advocacy. This podcast started because of her. I created the show to give a voice to animals who are labeled hard, dangerous, or simply unwanted, to talk about the stigma that keeps them from loving homes, and to share the rescues, the wins, the heartbreak, and the messy reality in between. Before we go any further, I want to tell you the real story behind the dog who changed everything, my Medusa. Medusa was an XL bully who had already lived several lifetimes before she ever met me. She'd gone through multiple shelters and had been used as a breeder. At some point, someone dumped her. I really don't know why, and she ended up at the local shelter that I was currently volunteering at. She was heartworm positive, but you would never know it. She had that light, that spark that never dimmed, no matter what she had been through. I met her because someone asked me to walk her, and I was honestly nervous, not because of her size, and I didn't even know what breed she was. It was kind of her name. Anybody who thinks of Medusa thinks of this serpent lady who's trying to turn people into stone, which, looking into the lore, it kind of makes you realize that that's not actually true, but that's a story for another day. But when our eyes met, when I looked at Medusa and she looked at me, there was this instant connection. It's an indescribable spark that I felt. And it was like she had been waiting there for me. When I first took her for a walk, she was really strong, and she wanted to pull on the leash, and it wasn't because she was stubborn or didn't know how to walk on a leash. It was because she was just so used to her routine of just going out of her cage, going outside, and using the bathroom. This dog didn't care about other dogs. She didn't care about nothing. She just wanted to do her thing. And over the next few weeks, we bonded. I was there with her while she was going through her heartworm treatment, which, if you didn't know, heartworm treatment can be really stressful for a dog. It can cause a lot of problems, so you have to keep them calm, relaxed, and that's kind of hard in a shelter environment. When I decided I wanted to adopt her, the lady who was second in charge at the shelter tried really hard to discourage me and my family from adopting her. They told us she was cat aggressive, which we have a lot of cats, so you gotta be careful with that. They tried convincing me that she was not the right dog for me, but I knew different. My family knew different. We ended up getting her anyways. I adopted her on a really rough day. It was the day I finally decided to step away from that animal shelter because of things I couldn't move past and couldn't be around anymore. And Medusa filled up that spot that had been missing. And I was really grateful for that because she kept me going. From that day forward, it was me and Medusa. She was nothing like people warned me about. She was gentle, well behaved, listened beautifully, and when I came to the cat, she was just mostly curious. She's misunderstood, judged before anyone took the time to know her, and that's exactly why her story is the heart of this podcast. Because of every Medusa out there, there are countless other animals who are overlooked, mislabeled, or written off without ever being given a chance. Losing her has been devastating, but out of that grief, I want to build something that lasts, a rescue and this podcast that keeps her spirit alive by helping other animals like her. So that's the heart of the show. But what does that actually mean? What is unloved, and what can one podcast do about a big broken system? When I use the word unloved, I'm not saying these animals don't matter. I'm saying that society chooses not to love them or chooses not to see them. And here, in the state of South Carolina, we see this problem more than most places. Unloved looks like a dog labeled aggressive because of its breed, even when its behavior is gentle. Unloved looks like a 16-year dog shut down in a kennel while puppies get adopted instantly. But the problem goes way beyond dogs. South Carolina is facing a crisis with cat overpopulation, hundreds of thousands of stray and feral cats from the state, breeding faster than shelters can even respond to. Many of them live their entire lives hungry, sick, or scared. Some people see them as pests instead of living beings that deserve compassion. Our shelters are constantly overwhelmed, not just with dogs, but with litters of kittens, abandoned seniors, dumped hunting dogs, owner surrenders, and animals found wandering. Then we have problems people don't like to talk about, and they're some of the more serious problems that we face, especially in this state. Backyard breeders producing litter after litter with no cure for health, genetics, or long-term welfare. There's pet stores that sell sick puppies, poorly bred animals, or small pets kept in cramped, unsanitary conditions and sold the exact same way. You got exotic pets, reptiles, amphibians, and vertebrates who are mistreated simply because people don't understand their needs and don't care to. Animals surrendered when they get too big, too old, or too inconvenient. It's a lot. But unloved isn't just a label, it's a consequence. Animals who are misunderstood, mistreated, or written off without a second thought end up paying the price. They get fewer chances, fewer adopters, fewer advocates. And here's the thing I really want to stress, being unloved doesn't mean an animal is unlovable. Unloved animals are the ones whose stories get ignored, the ones who get overshadowed by myth, fear, stigma, or simply bad luck. The ones who need someone to believe in them the most. And that's what this is about, shining light to those who rarely get one. It's about the misunderstood species, the shelter animals nobody asks about, the cats living their whole lives sick and hurt, the pets in cages at stores who deserve better and proper information, and dogs like Medusa who were judged before anyone even gave them a chance. Being unloved is not their identity, it's a challenge to all of us to do better. Okay, now we move into our topic of the day. Each day on this podcast, we choose a different topic to talk about and discuss. I want to talk about today something that often comes up whenever people discuss bully breeds, since we're already on the topic with Medusa. Dog attacks. It's a heavy topic, but an important one, and understanding it's part of breaking the stigma. When dog attacks happen, especially if the dog is muscular or has a blocky head, the public instantly hears one word, which is pit bull, but the truth is far more complicated than people make it out to be. Dog attacks don't come from a breed, they come from circumstances. There are several factors that contribute to aggression or dangerous behavior, and none of them are about dogs simply being born looking a certain way. Poor breeding practices are number one. A massive problem in the bully breed world is people don't know what they're doing when it comes to dog breeding. A lot of the times you see people trying to make a quick buck on a quote unquote pit bull puppy with no health testing, no temperament screening, no understanding of genetics, no socialization, and then oftentimes they will inbreed to get a certain look. We see that with like the pocket bullies, and that's why they end up with so many health issues, is because of the purpose inbreeding to try and get that short stature. These dogs grow up with unstable genetics, medical issues, and poor social foundations before they ever meet their first home. Some puppies are raised in neglectful environments, never exposed to people, sounds, or other dogs, which set them up for fear and anxiety later on, because they're just thrust into it. Bad breeding creates unstable dogs. Responsible breeding creates stable ones. Unfortunately, the ones ending up in shelters are often the byproduct of careless breeding and not careful planning. Lack of training and socialization is another big one. I gotta be careful with this because people will say I'm victim blaming. I'm not. I'm just stating what I know and what my experience is and what I have read and done research on. No matter the breed, a dog that never learns basic manners, boundaries, or how to handle new situations is more likely to react poorly under stress. A fearful or overstimulated dog of any breed can bite. Training isn't optional, it's part of a responsible ownership. A third key sign is neglecting poor living conditions. Isolated, unsocialized, or constantly frustrated dogs have a much higher risk of aggression. Environment shapes behavior more than most people even realize. Then we have owner behavior, because many attacks happen because owners ignore warning signs, allow their dogs to roam free, no supervision, With any dog breed, you have to watch a dog. It doesn't matter if it's a lab, a American Pit Bull Terrier. You have to watch the dog, especially with small children. They fail to fix intact males. Intact males can be a lot more aggressive. Don't provide structure or boundaries. Use harsh punishment methods that increase fear and anxiety, or simply don't understand dog body language, which that is something you really need to learn when getting a dog. Most serious attacks across all breeds come from a combination of these factors, not from a dog being genetically predisposed to harm. And then another big thing is a huge percentage of reported pit bull attacks turn out to be other breeds entirely once DNA testing is done. If a dog looks muscular, people label it as a pit bull, even if it's a boxer, mastiff, cane corso, Labrador mix, or just a random mutt. So statistics get skewed, fear grows, and the stigma deepens. But here's the truth of that matter. A dog's behavior is the product of how it was bred, raised, trained, socialized, and cared for. No single breed is more inherently dangerous than the other. You could have a perfectly behaved bully breed, a reactive herding dog, a fearful small dog that bites unexpectedly, a gentle giant who melts in your lap, or a mixed breed with zero recognizable traits at all. Dogs are individuals. Their behavior reflects their environment, experience, and the humans who shape them. And that's why the stigma around pit bulls is so unfair, because we're not judging dogs based on who they are, we're judging them based on how they look and the mistakes made of irresponsible people. Dogs like Medusa's sweet, gentle, loving souls get lumped in with the worst cases because someone else failed another dog somewhere. And that's exactly why having these conversations matters, because the more we understand the real cause of aggression, the more we can prevent it, and the more we can give dogs like her a fair chance. Now, I'll let you guys brew on that while we move on to our next segment. Rescue Story Spotlights, where we're going to go over a rescue story each and every time we do the show. Here recently, Newton County Sheriff's Office with Operation Pitbull. In November 2025, after months of investigations, law enforcement executed a search warrant on a property in the Call community in Newton County. What they found was horrific. A purpose-built fighting pit where dogs were being forced to fight for blood, money, and entertainment. When authorities arrived, 2 dogs were actively fighting. They were rescued just in time. The rest of the ring fell apart. 45 people were arrested, and the operation was shut down. The raid didn't just stop dogfighting, it saved lives. 16 dogs were seized from the property. These animals, many likely abused, scared, injured, or neglected, now have a chance. According to the sheriff who led the operation, the case is among the most disturbing he's ever witnessed. Now, why I'm sharing this story with you is because it shows the real people, like law enforcement, rescuers, volunteers, who are fighting back. It shows that when we pay attention, speak up, and refuse to stay silent, we can save lives and end cruelty. It also shows how stigma, neglect, and abuse often go hand in hand, especially with bully-type dogs or dogs trafficked for fighting. Many of these dogs are victims of inhumane breeding, neglect, and trauma circumstances that no dog deserves. But that was the rescue story of the day. Before we finish today's episode, I want to share something exciting that connects to the heart of why I started this podcast. I'm currently working towards opening my own animal rescue called Trinity's Animal Haven, a place that will focus on the misunderstood, the overlooked, and the animals who haven't had someone fighting for them. It's still early in the process, but I want to bring you all along with me as it grows step by step. If you'd like to follow the journey, learn more about the animals I work with, or support the rescue as it develops, you can find me online under Miss Herbs a lot, as well as on the Trinity's Animal Haven pages. Following either or both will help you stay updated as I build the stream from the ground up. Your support means more than you know. Every follow, every share, and every listen helps shine a little more light on the animals who need it most. Next week's topic, hermit crabs, one of the most abused animals in the world. Thank you again for being here for the first episode of the Unloved Podcast. Medusa's story lives on through this work, and I'm grateful to have you with me as we continue it. I'll see you in the next episode.